What's going on, you guys? It's Ariel here. Welcome back to the Gamer's Respite, where I have tech journalist, all-around goofy guy, and one of my best friends, Tony Polanco. Thank you so much for being here, dude. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about, the year that was 2025.
God, it was a crazy year. It feels like just yesterday that it was February.
No, it really does. I was talking to a friend about that. I was like, yo, where did this year go? Like, it just like kind of zipped by. Like, I kind of have faint memories of there being a summer, but I remember the beginning of the year was cold and now it's cold again. It's like no time has passed, but, but a lot did happen for sure.
My God, I just want to briefly discuss. I know we're going to get into the Game Awards because that was insane. Actually,
Yeah.
like it was the most. I mentioned this before to Ray Apollo, who I had on my podcast previously on the last episode. It was the most award show I've ever seen, actually, from the Game Awards.
That's interesting. Yeah. So the Game Awards, like I think I missed the first half an hour because that night was also my office Christmas party, which was a lot of fun. And I was also drinking. So I remember like I came home and because I host a throwdown show, we were live streaming it. So my buddies were handling that. So I just jumped into the middle of it and just saw it. And I always call it the yearly roast of the Game Awards because there's just so much to make fun of. This year, I mean, to me, yeah, like you said, it was just another Game Awards to me. There was anything too crazy, at least I'm talking for myself. Clear Obscure won everything. We all kind of saw that coming. So I guess that was the only kind of a little bit of a downer. I'm like, you knew what was going to win in any particular category. And as always, like 50 billion ads, which is always kind of frustrating and stuff. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good presentation, and I know people who were actually there in attendance, they also really had a good time.
It was so interesting to me because it was like this show was probably, I think, my favorite one of all. I think because
Okay.
not only the Divinity trailer, but the way that they pulled off that trailer for Control, like I've never heard of Divinity until the Game Awards.
Oh wow, really? The Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because Larian, that's kind of how I first knew about them. They made the Divinity Original Sin games, and then I remember when Baldur's Gate 3 was announced, I was like, oh, the Divinity guys, that's a match made in heaven. Because basically the Divinity games were basically a love letter to the old Baldur's Gate games. So it seems fitting that the team that loves Baldur's Gate that made a game like that's like Baldur's Gate would make Baldur's Gate. And this one is interesting. Maybe you could tell me a little more. So, are they just call it Divinity? It's not Original Sin anymore. Are they moving away from that?
I have such non-knowledge about the
Yeah,
Divinity games. I'm assuming it's like a fresh start,
that's what it
or
sounds like. Yeah,
that's what it looked like to me when I saw the trailer. Did you saw the trailer that they did there? Correct me if
yeah,
I'm
and that
wrong.
was so. Yeah, I saw the
Was
trailer, and that was also tied to that mystery statue that they had in the desert, which was that was kind of fun because basically they were just shooting down everything it was. I thought it was going to be Saros because if you see the promo, yeah, if you saw the promo ad for Saros, those have like a multi-limbed kind of person. I'm like, okay, that's kind of related and stuff. By the way, on my podcast, we lovingly refer to Saros as He Eternal because it's
I love that.
yeah.
It's cute.
But yeah, but no, the Divinity thing was cool. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like I said, even though I haven't really played many of Larian's games, I've only really played Baldur's Gate, but I've known about them from the jump because I was like, whoa, these guys are making old Baldur's Gate type of games. That's cool. Like they were always like an industry darling, and now obviously having won the Game Awards, their profile is a lot higher. So this game, this Divinity game, I think it actually is appropriate. They go, you know what? Forget the original Sin stuff. Just call it Divinity. We're starting from scratch. So they can make their own, like truly make a name for themselves outside of the guys like me who have just known about them forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing too of where like when I saw the trailer, besides feeling kind of queasy from all of the grotesqueness that was going
Hmm.
on there was a moment of where I was like, okay, they're doing something really unique here, and of course it's like steeped in religion and like some of what Baldur's Gate has done in terms of setting, in terms of story and everything like that, in terms of like what the narrative design is. But I really think it's so cool that new audiences like me are going to get to play it. Now, this is going to be a tad controversial, or I don't even know if it might be, but I've been hearing that they have been integrating AI usage into there.
Yeah, that was the kind of, controversy that was going on this week. For you guys, listening in the future, this is the week before we're recording this right before Christmas. But basically, the way I understand it is that somebody figured out that they were using AI art or AI assets or whatever, and then the studio had to come out and just basically admit it. And that caused a lot of controversy. And then it turned out that other developers, some that may have won Best Art Direction, also use AI. So that's causing a lot of controversy. And, I haven't really said this on Twitter because this is a very touchy subject, but I'm like, you guys need to be more upfront about this stuff because there are people like me that if I know there's AI being used, I want to know that so I know whether I want to buy this or not. I'm just going to be very upfront. I cannot be objective about AI. I think and I'm saying this as a non-religious person. I think AI, not AI, not artificial intelligence. That I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the large language model, which is what this stuff is. I think it's evil. I think it's the devil. I think it's going to finally cause the destruction. This is why I tweeted that thing out the other day, Ariel, about why I don't see the light in the tunnel. I really think AI, or large language model is going to really cause a big hamper to society at large and to video games. We're already seeing it with RAM prices going up. So I want to know who is using this stuff. But the problem is this technology is so ubiquitous now. Every game's going to have some form of AI. If think about this, right? Even if you don't have any AI in your game, right? If you Google something, you're getting an AI result. So no matter what, there's going to be AI in some form, and it upsets me. I really don't like what we're doing with this stuff, So that's what happened with the Divinity guys. That had to come out, cost this whole brouhaha. Even the Expedition 33 got people. As a matter of fact, I heard there was the Indie Game Awards. They disqualified Expedition 33 because they used generative AI. So this whole thing is becoming really crazy. Some people are making their stand. It's like, nope, no AI. We're not accepting this. And this is controversial. I respect that, because like we have to put even if it's completely like useless, like put your foot down where you can because this AI stuff is not good at all.
I mean, I have the game in my library. Like, it's something that I'm going to review, and they don't have it in the game anymore. But it's shocking to me how many use an LLM right now. Because like back in the day, when like Resident Evil 5, for example, Sheva's model used AI, not in the way that we see it with an LLM. Hello, hi, hello. So I want to be able to make some clarifications based on what I am talking about here. I realize that the term AI for this is going to lead to a lot of confusion. So what I want to do is I want to be able to use another term instead of utilizing AI for like, oh, the character's AI is like really buggy or it doesn't work well. I am going to use a term that I just learned, a finite state machine, which I found out is often used while in programming to allow for more complex series of actions, idle, running, whatever the NPC needs to do. It states in one of the articles that I saw that it's especially useful when one needs multiple tasks to run at the same time, which is absolutely fascinating. So instead of saying, oh, this character's AI is just dumb, I can just say that the finite state machine is dumb, or the state that it's in is kind of silly. But I'm going to work on my language for this. So yeah, back to the podcast. But it did use a type of AI to have the character go about it on its own and do certain things as like a tag team kind of thing with Chris and
that's
Sheva.
A different thing. Like I hate the fact that we're using the term AI for large language models. They are not the same thing. Like the AI that's used in a video game, like traditionally, like think about Super Mario Brothers had AI with the little Goombas and stuff. Like this, this is a different type of thing. It's just like instead of like for example, having an artist painstakingly create something. They just write a couple of paragraphs and they get, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different thing. Like I understand why people. I mean, again, I don't like any of this stuff. I'm like, now, I'm still working on some books I want to write, but I'm like, but some asshole could just write a prompt and just dish out a book way faster than I
It
can.
pisses me off so
I'm like,
much.
what the hell's the point? You know?
It pisses me off. It's just like, where is the creativity being stored? Like, no one is, I should say no one. Some people are not really wanting to be creative. They want a shortcut. I
They want a
remember when I was in
shortcut.
high school, they forced us to actually write those blue little books every single time to write a prompt, be creative, and now it's at everyone's fingertips, especially the new generation that is coming up. They're going to have it so incredibly easy, with the ease in which they can search for things and create something on the dime without putting effort into it. And it's honestly scary.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like, while Larian should take responsibility, I would love to be able to see them not having AI in their game before it releases. I know for a fact that if they do still have AI in their game when it releases, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. No, and here's the other problem, right? I don't know if it was Larry that said this or somebody else, but basically, and I could see this is the case. Basically, it wasn't the developer said we need to use AI. It was the people above them who pay the checks going, you need to use AI. Because this is being mandated because companies think this is the best way of doing things, so they're mandating all their workers whether they want to or not. I've saw this story. I don't know if it was for Larian or another studio, but basically the developers were like, we don't want to use this, but the higher ups told them, no, you're going to use this.
It's
So
kind of like the whole debacle that we saw with Cyberpunk 2077 when it was
yeah,
released too early.
the
It's the
developers
same
knew
thing.
the game was not ready. They knew it was ready, but the higher ups were like, no, it's ready now.
Exactly. And that's the shitty position that a lot of devs are being put in nowadays. The only this is where my brain goes to. It goes to the worst possible scenario. What if the developers actually wanted to use the AI? That's where my brain is also going as well. Like, that's a scary thing for me if they actually wanted to use it. But if they don't and it's higher ups, I'm a little more lenient with it because then it's more out of their control.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But no, I mean, not to derail the conversation, but this is affecting everything. Like me, I'm a journalist, game journalist, tech journalist. Guess what? Websites across the board are losing traffic because now when you go to Google and you ask for something, what do you get? You get an AI response. So normal people, they see the response, they're happy with it, they don't click on the link. They don't go to websites anymore, and that's been causing all kinds of problems. And the thing is, the answer that you get, not all the time, but enough time, it's a wrong answer. Like, here, I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give you two perfect examples. One is I purposely asked it, when did the iPad Air with the M4 chip come out? It has not come out. It doesn't exist. The answer I got was literally the iPad Air was released on bracket date. It had brackets there and it said date in the middle. Like, you're just making this stuff up, you know? And then the other answer, and I hope some people don't see this like, oh, this is why he hates AI. No, this is not personal. I actually find it funny, but it's a perfect demonstration of how incorrect this stuff is. For fun, this was years, like maybe 2 years ago when this stuff really kind of started popping. One of my friends, for fun, asked ChatGPT, "Hey, tell me about Tony Polanco," right?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it said, "You'll love this. Tony Polanco was a beloved game journalist that passed away in 2021. Many mourned his passing. They loved his take on video games." I'm like, I'm reading this. I'm alive, right? I'm like, okay. Yeah. By the way, I ended up writing an article about that because my boss was like, write an article about that. That's hilarious.
That
But I'm
that
like,
really is.
yeah. But the point is like, look how, if you didn't care, you wouldn't have followed up with, hey, this guy's alive, you know?
This Okay, wait, now that you do this, I need to do a test live for you guys on here. Who is Huggable Hipster?
There you go.
I'm very curious now. You sparked my curiosity. Going through Safari, Who is
I hope you're
Huggable
alive.
Hipster? I know, right? Oh my god, no, I might have to write an article too if I'm dead. Huggable Hipster is an online alias for Ariel Dannon, a gaming journalist, Souls and Souls-like content creator, freelance video editor, previously for IGN. I'm still at IGN.
See what I mean?
Previously. It says previously also for Game Informer. I don't work at Game Informer anymore. I'm a freelancer at IGN, though. What the hell? And a podcaster known for her YouTube channel, Threads. I don't even post on Threads. And podcasts like The Casual Nerd are rebranded to The Gamer's Respite, focusing on games, tech, and pop culture. I don't do pop culture. She's recognized for her deep dives into, especially from software titles, her love for collecting physical games, and engaging personality.
That's about half right.
Half right, yeah.
Like the stuff it gets right, it gets right. The stuff it gets wrong, it gets wrong.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
And ironically, because I do have Grok, I asked it. I hate to say this, Grok was 100% right. Everything about me went into detail, and it got everything right. I'm like, whoa, you know. But the point we're trying to make is like, I mean, you saw the live demonstration right there, people. You can't just trust it. You can't do that. And that's the thing. It's like companies are telling employees, like, use this to become more productive. But I'm like, if I have to double check its answers, that's making me less productive.
It's like having an employee that doesn't do its job. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Like, yo, check his work. That's more work. That's more work. So yeah, the fact that this stuff is happening with gaming now, very disturbing. For sure.
And also the fact of where, like, I can't really trust a lot of the videos that I'm seeing on YouTube. Like, for, like, when I'm watching videos with my parents, like, sometimes, like, I'll just see straight up AI videos.
The reason I'm reacting this way is because I was talking to some friends about this. I was screaming about this because one of my things is I love going on YouTube to watch, like, historical videos. Like, you know, I like learning about history, right? I swear that half the videos I see now, not only do they have AI thumbnails, which is already kind of iffy, but they have AI, like, art within, AI animation, AI narration. So I'm like, okay, if I have to search anything historical based, I have to make sure the video was uploaded like 4 years ago, just so I could be on the safe side, you know. And even some of my favorite YouTubers that are like just using it just to, you know, like, hey, I just want to get the video out there. They're still narrating it themselves and everything, right? But I'm like, but you're still using AI art, bro. Like, yeah. So you can see why I made that tweet the other day. It's like,
Well, I'm not on Twitter anymore, actually. I deleted the account.
Okay. So okay, good for you, actually. No, but I've been just making all these kind of anti-AI tweets and stuff. And one of the tweets I put out a couple of weeks ago is like, is it worth destroying the economy and the environment just to get your emails written faster or getting plagiarized art faster? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, like people, whenever they saw the plagiarized art for, oh God, I hate that I'm like, his name is slipping my mind right now, but he passed away. He was the artist for Kiki's Delivery Service and, so many other anime pieces.
Are you talking about Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki? Because he died a while ago.
The artist who, hold on a second, Mononoke?
Yeah, he did that too. Miyazaki, but that was a while ago he passed away, I believe. But it was a recent memory, though.
Yeah, because there was, it's one of those things of where, like, even the artist for that, a lot of people were doing AI renditions of the art for that, and it's like, why? Like, first of all, you would be so against this because it's not creative at all whatsoever, and it's so sad to see that so many people are not taking the time to learn art. Instead, they're going to steal concepts from artists who have already made it big and use it in their AI art, which is
By the way, because I know someone's going to come after us, I just had to check this now. Just to prove we're not AI, one thing AI does not do is admit when it's wrong. The reason it doesn't do that is because it gets punished for, like, not saying I don't know. So right now, I'm going to make a correction. Hayao Miyazaki is, I didn't know this. I feel really bad. He's still alive.
Okay. Whoops.
Yeah. But unlike AI, we're able to correct ourselves, and admit it. No, Hayao Miyazaki's still alive, and I'm pretty sure he's not happy with all this stuff either.
I do feel like this is a good point to go on to the next topic of where I wanted to talk to you about the Steam Cube that is going to be coming out next year. I need
The
to know your thoughts.
The
the,
GameCube, as people are calling it.
the GameCube 2.0.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, right? Because I'll tell you a little bit of inside story. I can now that the NDA's lifted. So we at my team were prepared for Valve to announce their new Steam Frame headset, right? And one of our writers was like, okay, I'm going to take this on. But if they announce anything else, can you guys help me out? And I'm like, yeah, I'll help you out. So then we get, the news before it dropped, we got the news beforehand, right? And I could tell, like, my colleague was probably like, oh man, Tony's gonna get to write about the fun one, because he didn't know about the Steam Machine until, like, we got the press thing. Whoa, to me, and I said this on my podcast last night, because we did our year-end special on Throwdown, and I just had everybody in the room go, list their biggest news stories of the year, and my number one was the Steam Machine. We didn't see this coming either. Like, nobody saw this coming, and the promise of it is, because we all know the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is fantastic. It really revolutionized handheld gaming, brought PC gaming to a wider market. Now, and then people have always wondered, hey, what if I had a Steam Deck but 4x TV? Yes, you can use like USB hubs or whatever to get them to your TV. You can do that, but just having a nice little cube that you can put under your TV and just play your PC games, absolutely amazing, right? Like what it promises is so cool. I love the new controller. That looks really interesting. But unfortunately, going back to what we were just talking about, we don't know how much this thing's going to cost. And why don't we know how much it's going to cost? Because Valve doesn't know, because RAM prices are fucking crazy right now.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing too, of where if they're marketing it as a PC. So if that's the case, then we're not getting away much less than $1,000.
Unfortunately, because like if you wanted to sell a home console, you kind of wanted to be in that 500 range, 500, 600 range. But now who knows? But then again, look what's happened with consoles. 5-year-old consoles now cost $50 to $100 more than they used to, with no new features whatsoever. So the excitement of the Steam Machine, like for about a week, everybody's like, oh my God, it's incredible. I was going nuts, but then reality started setting again. I'm like, uh-oh, how much this is going to cost? Shout out to Linus Tech Tips. So he was at the reveal event for the Steam Machine, and when he said, hey, you guys should probably do what consoles do and subsidize this so you could sell it at a loss. And Valve was like, yeah, we're not selling this at a loss, and then he built his own Steam Machine, with like that with kind of comparable parts. And it cost him around $700. So he's like, no, excuse me, it cost him around $600 to build. So he's like, they're probably going to sell it at $700, which is still pretty brutal, but less than $1,000. But again, yeah, but I know some people were very upset with Valve that they didn't announce the price. It's not their fault. They don't know how much it's going to cost. They legit do not know. There's some other stuff I can't say because of NDAs, but this is something that's happening with all manufacturers. Some machines that are coming out next year, nobody knows how much they're going to cost.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing about going into a new year after, we're still experiencing somewhat of a recession here for, not only parts, but food and for everything that is necessities. It's not like it was back in 2010 of where we had predictability of how much consoles were going to cost based on how much the parts were going to be. It's so unpredictable now that it's sad that a company like Steam, valued in billions of dollars, doesn't even know what the cost is going to be for their parts.
Yeah, and again, it's not just Steam. Other companies do not know how much their stuff. This is why, like, Asus didn't tell you what the ROG Xbox Ally cost until the last minute, because they didn't know. They had no idea. And it's funny you bring up 2010, because that was right after the whole, housing crash, where that caused a recession, right? Things were more stable back then.
Right. My God, yes. That was what I went to college in 2010. So yeah, I have such a vivid memory of whenever that happened. That was
Yeah, it happened
insane to say the
2008,
least.
and 2010 we're finally pulling out of that. But think about it, even back then, with all that insanity, you didn't see the iPods go up in price or whatever.
Right.
you know.
No. Oh my God. Imagine if people are still using iPods now. Just imagine.
Yeah,
So one of the other questions I have for you, kind of in regards to, I'm just gonna call it the Steam Cube because it just sounds
fair
cuter.
enough.
I'm curious to hear what you think about consoles in general. Do you think we are going to start seeing a decline in console purchases, or do you think that with the Steam Cube being, because Steam always is revolutionizing the market, do you think that it's going to bring back sales for consoles?
No, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you saw the latest report from Circana. They did their November sales. Now here's okay. November is always the month when hardware sells the most, right? Because coming up on the Black Friday, the holidays, everything goes up every November. That's a consistent thing. They released their hardware sales for the month of November. 2025 hardware sales were the lowest they've been since 1995. But it makes sense, right? Consoles are more expensive now. There's really not a lot of new compelling games to play for the most part. The RAM stuff. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, here we go. Because here's the thing: for a few years now, I've said, because somebody asked me a question like, when do you think the video game crash is going to happen? And I was looking at the generation. I'm like, I think we've been in one. It's just been slow. This is accelerating it. I honestly think we're going to see a video game. If a video game crash is going to happen, it's going to happen next year, I think.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And like Grand Theft Auto comes out, air quotes, to the max infinity in November of next year. If that game does actually come out in November of next year, I feel like a revitalization will happen in the gaming sphere of
Yeah.
where we're going to see people buying it like crazy and buying the bundles that come with the consoles. I feel like that will be, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I feel like Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be consoles and the gaming industry's saving grace whenever it comes out.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a caveat to that. I'm gonna say could be, and tying it back to my podcast throwdown. One thing we've said, and we've said this before, the RAM thing. Everything's just coming together. We said if Grand Theft Auto 6 does not live, not two things. If Grand Theft Auto 6 does not live up to expectations and it costs $100, that will cause a game recession. So think about it. Add in the RAM stuff. If Grand Theft Auto, because you are right, If Grand Theft Auto 6 is what we want it to be, it could potentially save the industry. I 100% agree with you. Conversely, though, if it doesn't live up to the hype and it's $100, it's gonna crash it.
Because everyone's going to buy it day fucking one. That's the thing. That
Yeah.
franchise is the most popular one besides and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that consumers, if you're not working in the gaming industry and you are a consumer, you are playing sports games, you are playing nostalgia pieces, you are playing Grand Theft Auto. It's popularized games that are either part of nostalgia or the stuff that is coming out. I didn't realize this until I saw a lot of my friends buying sports games like crazy. I didn't understand the hype behind it, and I get it. It's popular. It's something that's you just want to sit down and chill along with. So, I mean, it's one of those things of where, like, I was in a server for motorcycles, and because I like motorcycles, and not one person who I interacted with knew what Bloodborne was.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Or Elden Ring, or like any of the Souls likes. It's so niche that the consumer is not going to know a lot of those unless they find it, unless they like it. I know I'm generalizing a lot right now, but
No,
it's
you're
based
right,
on
though.
what I've seen though.
No, you're 100% right. Grand Theft Auto, here's the thing. It's everybody always talks about, and it's kind of funny because this was the year we also saw the fall of Call of Duty, right? But everybody always thinks like, oh, Call of Duty is the biggest franchise. Grand Theft Auto laughs at Call of Duty numbers. Like GTA 5 is the best-selling piece of media of all time. Not a video game, media, right? This is a juggernaut. Like the industry hinges on this title. I agree with you. It's either going to save the industry or it's going to kill it. one or the other two. And by the way, when I say kill, I mean that it's gonna hurt the game industry. The game industry is not obviously not gonna go anywhere. Think about it like this: when we had the game crash of 1983, that was for America, right? Japan and Europe, they went along just fine. Nothing happened with them, But no, I agree with you there. And since you brought it up, and not to derail the conversation too much, I was thinking I've had this conversation with a friend. Like, I'm talking about just me personally. I always feel like I'm a man without a country when it comes to video games sometimes, because my gaming tastes are too lowbrow for other game journalists. Like, I don't care for indie games and stuff. I don't care for all these artsy fartsy type of games. Like, I played Silk Song. I thought it was boring. Like, so I feel out of place when it comes to, like, game journalists. Like, I love fighting games. Most game journalists don't. But then when I talk to a normie, they don't know what the fuck Bloodborne is. They don't know what God of War is. They don't know what Assassin's Creed is. So it's like I'm in this weird spot. Like, with my personal group, like me, you, and Danny and Paris, like, we are generally into the same type of games and stuff. But when it comes to other people, I'm like, hey, I don't really fit in. Like, one of my friends, his brother is exactly what you just described. He was like, hey man, I want to this was back in the day, I want to get a PS3. I'm like, dude, you got to get God of War. You got to get this. He's like, yo, I don't know that stuff. I only play Madden and Call of Duty.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I got him into real games though. I will say,
into real games.
I got him into real games, and he loves it.
What's interesting though is that this year has been the year of me playing the oldies but goodies. Like, it was my first time playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Let me tell you, Tony, when I say this game is a masterpiece, besides one part of the game, the torture scene, which I will readily admit I bawled my eyes out to, because I was so uncomfortable during that part of the game. It was just, I did not like it at all. But the part where, like, you have such natural conversations between Michael and Trevor, like the part where he calls him a hipster. Like, that whole conversation is just beautiful. It lends right into when you see Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, that's the same kind of conversations. Like, these writers are top notch. And I really hope, I'm not going to say for certain, but I hope that it's the same style of writing and the same caliber in Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, and that's why I'm worried, because Dan Houser, the guy that wrote all those games, is no longer at the company. He left. And I'm like, and my thing is, like, I don't want them to, I'm trying to be careful about what I say here, because for the lack of a better term, in the last, I was almost say 10 years, we've seen a kind of softening in media where we don't want to upset certain people. And I'm like, what I love about Grand Theft Auto is everybody got it. Whether you're on the left or right, you all got cooked. Like, keep doing that. Cook everybody. Everybody needs to get cooked. I want to, like, if they could keep that, because I love the satire. It's like, and it's just crazy. It's like, these are British writers putting a mirror in front of us Americans. Like, this is what you guys are to us. I'm like, oh, that's kind of accurate, bro. So I want that bite to still be there. And I'm really glad you said what you said about Grand Theft Auto 5, because the game came out 12 years ago now, and people may think, oh, it's overrated, this side of the thing. You're kind of coming into it new. No, the game was legitimately fantastic. And even outside of the story, which was great, like, I mean, the online is still going. That's the reason Rockstar doesn't release games anymore, because they're making so much money off the online. And when I was playing, me and my boys were playing online, Grand Theft Auto Online, we were playing Grand Theft Auto Online. We were living in that world.
Yeah, what I really liked about the style of Grand Theft Auto 5 was how it started off just so in your face. It's so seedy. It's so just raunchy. It's so everything that I am not used to playing. That was the first time I ever played Grand Theft Auto fully. And it was such an experience of where you saw the lives of three separate men going through different experiences. Trevor, absolute creature. Just an absolute creature. And then you have Michael, and then you have Franklin. Franklin probably was my favorite character.
No, just you were probably going to say it, but because you just got to be excited talking about this game. It's like, I love how each character represents different aspects of the player, right? You have like the kind of young upstart, idealistic, Franklin, but he's like kind of roughened by his environment and stuff. Then you got Michael, he's he's like washed up, trying to reclaim past glory and everything. And then you have Trevor, who is literally the gamer's id. Like when you play Grand Theft Auto, you just want to go in there and just wreck stuff, And I just find it funny when I was playing the game. I would actually play like these characters would, like if I'm Franklin or Michael, I'm generally more or less behaving myself, right? But as soon as I get it in Trevor, like I'm just going nuts. I'm just going, yeah, like I'm going ham. It's hilarious. Fantastic. I'm really glad you're liking it because it's so good. Like a lot of people don't. Again, the online portion has overtaken the whole conversation, but like that core of it is still really good. And Michael's kids and everything. Oh, it's so good. The characters, the side characters, Lamar,
Oh
from
my
Franklin,
God.
it's too
I
much.
I love Lamar. It was so funny to me because whenever I went into the game, I heard the N word right off the bat. And I'm like, oh Lord, should
Oh
I?
yeah,
How? What are you? Okay, that's good. We're in for this ride. Okay, we're going right now because
yeah.
instantly my brain was like shocked, and
Oh
then
yeah, no, they
I
were keeping it real. Again, I just remember that line. I'm not gonna say the word obviously, but he
obviously.
like because was it Franklin? He was trying to get with some like girl or whatever. I think she
Yes,
was like a
yes,
nurse, and then
yeah.
she's like I could say this now. He's like she's not gonna fuck with you with your Gigi ass. I'm like, oh shit.
I remember that. It's hilarious. The way that they do the narrative design in this game is so like it's mixture of real and comedy, and it's just that balance between everything is just so perfect.
Yeah, it's great. By the way, I don't know the actor's name. That guy, he was in a show called Black Jesus. He does like I could just tell the Grand Theft Auto guy's like, yo, just ad lib, bro. Go ahead. He's great. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, we'll see about GTA 6. I'm still looking forward to playing it. Um, but yeah, I don't even know what the original question was. I love this is what I like about talking with you. Like we'll start on one thing and then we'll just go off to another, but it's still entertaining.
It still makes sense though. That's the
Yes,
thing.
yes, yes,
One of the other things I wanted to ask you about actually, since you're wearing the perfect sweatshirt for the next
yes.
topic that I want to dive into, I played the Mass Effect series for the first time this year.
I'm very happy for you. And I was
Yeah.
wondering because I know you were taught when it sucks because you and I have been so just everybody knows that we've been so busy we haven't talked in a while. So I knew you were gonna play them, but I'm glad. So when I put this on, I was like, I hope she understands. I hope she understands the power of this. So just before you start. When as soon as it started getting cold in New York, I've had to go to a bunch of gaming events. I purposely worn this. I get compliments all the time. The best compliment I've gotten wasn't even from a gamer. I'm forgetting Homeboy's name, but he is now the main guy that designs Kindles. When I went to a Kindle event, he stops talking. He looks at me, and goes, "That's a great sweater." Panos is his name. Like, this is awesome. I love it. So like every time I wear this, I bring joy to somebody.
The power of Mass Effect.
Yeah. Also, and before you go on, because I think this needs to
Yeah.
be said too, this hat I'm wearing, this is for Midnight Club 2. Back when Rockstar made other games besides Grand Theft Auto. So it all works.
It does. It's all a unified presentation.
Yes. But anyway, tell me about your Mass Effect experience.
So I have an article coming out actually from Skybox. It's going to be probably next year that's coming out because I took a long time writing this article because I
That's good.
played all three games back to back and I wanted to get the full experience. Now, people are not going to like my opinion on this. I'm not
Uh-oh.
going to give the full thing because I want people to be able to see the video and read the review, obviously. But what I will say for each game is that overall the narrative design lies within the characters, not the story of the game, period. Because when you're looking at the characters, they create what the story is. Much like what Dragon Age Inquisition was, and much
Yeah.
like how a lot of BioWare's games are, you don't really see the narrative design as the real selling point of the game, shall we say. But when I looked at the first title, did not like it whatsoever. First
Oh,
Mass
wow.
Effect, no. The ending, that's where it started to pick up for me because I was like, okay, we're starting to see a story form. We're starting to see the main antagonist and another guy was being used as a puppet. And it's just like you see all these things starting to come together, which was fantastic. The second game, I feel like the second and the third game could have been one. You could have done them in two parts of where you had the suicide mission and being able to do all of the different missions of each person as the first part, and then go into part two, which is after like all the events are happening, and Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3, by far the best one out of all three of them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when I played through Mass Effect 2, Garrus, by the way, romanced him. One of the best characters of the game, hands down. Like, it's the sarcastic attitude, the dry humor. Absolutely love the characters. The way that it was so interesting how events played out, of where each game it saved the choices that you made.
Yeah.
It was so fucking ballsy of this company to do that, but it works.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. Yeah, my take on it, little. Here's the thing. Overall, we both like the game, so that's good. But I do have a different take on it, and obviously you played all three of them back to back, whereas I played them when they originally came out, right? Although I did obviously play them back to back when the collection came out, got to revisit them again. So with Mass Effect 1, the only problem I had with the game was, and they fixed it with the remaster, I hated the controls. Absolutely. The original controls were absolute dog shit. Like, but it was, for a long time, it was my example of a game's narrative can get me past bad mechanics, right? Because I was so, okay, for years, I've been and I still am a Star Trek fan, right? I love Star Trek. And I've always wanted a proper Star Trek game. I've never got it, right? Like there were Star Trek games, but they weren't what I wanted, right? I'm playing Mass Effect, the first one. I'm like, I'm in the Citadel, right after the intro and stuff, for 6 hours, just talking to aliens. I'm like, this is the Star Trek game I've always wanted. This is absolutely incredible. I was there. I wanted to hear everybody. I'm like, I could just talk to anybody. I could just do what I want. I could just fuck this alien woman just randomly. Like, it was insane, and like all the choices and everything. So that first game left such an impression on me. But the part that really got to me was when you found out what Sovereign was, because you just thought, oh, Sovereign, cool shit, that's awesome. Then it's like, oh wait, this is some Cthulhu shit. What is going on here? And then the whole thing with Saren, it's like, awesome bad guy, but he's being manipulated by Sovereign, and the way that all came together. Mass Effect 1 was a fucking fantastic sci-fi movie. Like, on its own, that could work as a sci-fi movie. But I also loved the little stories. Like, you could go onto different planets, fight all these factions. I love the interactions with people. I'm like, because that's the first time I've ever played a game like that, where it's like, whoa, like this feels real, Then Mass Effect 2, till this day, that's my second favorite video game of all time. Like, because it feels like a season of a sci-fi series. And I'll explain why. In a series, right, you have one overarching arc, that ties the whole season together. But you have individual episodes in between where you get to learn more about the characters, right? So that was great. And I love how it kind of just expanded on the first one. And here's the thing, even though Mass Effect is not technically hard science, it's hard science enough where it satisfies me. Like, there was this one scene where they were like, hey, the collectors are they're hiding out in the middle of the galaxy, right? And the characters all reacted the same way I did. I'm like, wait, the middle of the galaxy, like, how many fucking black holes and shit there are there? Because in typical, like, sci-fi, if you go to the galactic center in, like, Star Wars, it's just, okay, it's just the center of the galaxy, whatever. Even in Star Trek, center of the galaxy, like, no, there's a giant-ass black hole in the middle of the galaxy, and the reason nothing could live there is because there's so much radiation and stars being ripped apart, and Mass Effect took that into account. I'm like, this is why you need to build up your ship, build up your, and I love how if you don't fix your ship up right, your whole crew's gonna die,
Exactly, yeah. And
What,
that's one thing that I really
yeah.
liked about it too, because it's just like it took a lot of that into account. And for each of the stories that you could go on to build your team, that way they could go into the suicide mission with you.
Yeah.
The suicide mission was one of the most stressful fucking things I've ever
I loved it.
experienced.
I
It was so
absolutely
good.
loved it. One thing that I was fun for me, I didn't realize I was a suicide mission because I'm a completionist. So when I did it, everybody came out alive, you know. And it wasn't until because I am not kidding you, Ariel. I played Mass Effect 2 specifically like 7 times, just trying different things, right? And there was one play I'm like, let me purposely let everybody die. It was so upsetting. It's just Shepard. He's the only one left. I'm like, bro, no, no. Like even the Kelly, you know, she's like your comms officer. She has the goldfish. Even she died. I'm like, oh man, that's just upsetting. Then you have Mass Effect 3. I It's hard for me to separate the experience of what that game was when it originally came out, because that ending was so disappointing after years of playing all that, right? You just got this lackluster green, blue, or red. Like, okay, this is stupid. They went on, they released the DLC for it, then it gave you that proper ending that you wanted. And I still like the game. Don't get me wrong. Like it when you get to that final part, right before you push on to the final part, when you get to Earth, you feel that despair, like yo, I think we're gonna lose. Like these Reapers are something else. Such a great war story, you know. So yeah, even though Mass Effect was kind of wobbly in some places, I still think it's great, very inspirational to me. I mean, I'm rocking the damn sweater. I have Mass Effect like figures and stuff. I even have Mass Effect hat as well. Like I love Mass Effect, one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I'm so happy that you finally got to experience it.
It was really such a treat as well, because it's just like so many of the characters hold such a special place in my
Yeah,
heart that like every so often when I'm doing a review, I'll think back to some of the characters in the
that's
game,
good.
and it's just like, whoa, you know, these are just like they're so well written. And like it was also the first time this year I got to play Dragon Age Inquisition and
Ooh,
Trespasser. And let me tell you, I said this before in some previous podcasts, but fuck Solus. Like that guy could just
he's an
he
asshole.
just got like he just could just go away. Like that handsome elf could he like bald Astarian. Just no, don't disappoint me, please. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever
Like
played Dragon Age Origins?
I was just recently gifted that as a Hanukkah
Okay,
present,
good.
so
Uh,
I'm so excited to play that.
yeah. Even though Inquisition is really good too, but what's funny about that is going back to Mass Effect. After I played Mass Effect, I was like, I need more of this. But remember, there was only one Mass Effect at the time. And then I was recommended to check out Dragon Age Origins out. At that time, I was still kind of wary, not wary, I was still not really a fantasy guy. I was like, because when Origins came out, I was like, yeah, like, okay, that seems kind of interesting. That you could have all these choices or whatever, but I'm not really into fantasy. But after Mass Effect, I'm like, I don't care if it's fantasy. I need this, where it's like you have the conversation and stuff. And it was great. And it opened the door for fantasy for me. And, you know, it's so weird the connections you have. So I played that, right? I played Dragon Age Origins. And then maybe a year or two later, they announced that they were going to be coming out with a at the time a new TV show called Game of Thrones, right? And I saw people and I saw people talking about it, and then I learned, hey, Dragon Age Origins was inspired by A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm like, okay, I need to check out Game of Thrones, and then I'm watching Game of Thrones. I'm like, okay, I see the inspiration. Where basically it's like, you know, a dark power is about to descend on like these kingdoms, but the kingdoms are too busy fighting each other to worry about the big essential threat. You know, so good, and all that because of Mass Effect. It just opened the way, it opened the doors.
And that's the thing too, of where like so many things were inspired by that series, and so many things inspired from Dragon Age Inquisition. Like I remember whenever I got sent the code to review, what was it, Veilguard this year.
Yeah.
That was my introduction into Dragon Age.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I played that, Solus was the character that stood out to me, and he was so vastly underutilized in that game. Like
Yeah.
it was disappointing for me actually, because I didn't know who he was really. I didn't know the story or the lore until I went and I played Inquisition and Trespasser. After I got it and after I saw, I was like, whoa, this character needed more of a spotlight. As much as I love Veilguard, vastly underutilized character in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard, not
Yeah.
so good things about Field Guard. I purposely skipped it from my. I'm like, that doesn't sound like the kind of Dragon Age I want. By the way, do you go deep into like reading the codexes and stuff? Because I do that too. Like it just fills out so much of the world. That's Mass Effect. That's why you learn about the Krogan rebellions and all this other cool
Exactly.
stuff. Same thing with
Krogan was
Dragon
so
Age.
good. Like, oh my
Yeah,
god, the Krogan rebellion, learning about that and seeing the characters and having them on your team, it was just so good. Like that was one of my favorite
yeah.
parts of the game, was seeing like the development of that. Now, I need to know in Mass Effect, spoiler by the way, but I
Yeah,
need to know.
spoiler for a 20-year-old game, basically. Yes.
I need to know, did you tell the Krogans that there was a cure or no?
In one playthrough, pretty sure I did. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, because
yeah.
right off the bat, I automatically did. I was like, no, they need to know it's a cure.
Yeah. That's the thing is like whenever someone asks me like, "What did you choose?" I'm like, "I chose everything." 'Cause I've replayed each game multiple times on purpose because I want to see all the permutations.
So the next topic I want to dive in with you is what. Okay, so during the Game Awards, when you were going online and you were voting for what your game of the year is, what did you vote for?
Oh, I didn't actually vote for anything.
Okay, okay, fair.
Yeah, I didn't even vote. I just remember I didn't have a problem with any of the nominees. I'm like, okay, these are all fine. Yeah, no, this year, here's the thing, I meant to vote, but I've been so busy, I just forgot to.
Fair.
So yeah, what,
Absolutely
what did
fair.
what did you vote for?
Hades 2, because I
Oh,
didn't play
right,
Clair
yeah,
Obscura yet, or Silk Song, or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. With all of the stuff that I was doing with IGN, I haven't been able to basically have a social life since
yeah,
past February.
yeah.
And
That's
it's
how
not
it
a bad
is.
thing. And that's the thing. It's not a bad thing. I have been loving the amount of work that I've been getting and doing for IGN. I'm just terrible at my time management.
Yeah, that happens. I guess by default, I would have chosen Death Stranding 2 because that's the only one of those games that I played and liked. Because I played Silk Song, I didn't like it. But the other ones I didn't play at all. Hades, I didn't bother because I didn't like the first. I don't like roguelikes. I don't like those type of games. I'm like, I just lost all my progress. No, I'm good. Like very frustrating because I remember when the first Hades was like blowing up, I was like, I'll give it a shot. I played it for a few hours. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then I also played Returnal, same deal. I'm like, no, this is and Returnal. I put 20 hours into that game. I'm like, okay, this is just not a genre for me. Yeah, but I think by default I would have chosen Death Stranding 2. I'm not saying that's the most amazing game of the year, but out of those, it was I liked it for what it was. It's a Kojima game. I'm a Kojima stan, so I enjoyed it for what it is, and I do think mechanically it is a better video game than the first one because the first one could kind of feel like kind of walking simulator-ish a little bit and also just frustrating. Like there were so many times in Death Stranding 2 where I would be like, hey, this is a little tedious. I wish it wasn't this way. And then I would get an upgrade that would fix it. Like, oh, okay. It's like they were listening to me. It's like every time I kind of hit a barrier, I'm like, that's kind of annoying. I would get an upgrade to fix that annoyance. I'm like, okay, this is cool. But I
Kojima
also
is always listening, okay?
yeah, pretty much. Although you had to be subjected to what I call Kojima's playlist for the
I
soundtrack.
love that so much. Like, oh my
Like,
god.
no,
If
like
you
this is what I'm listening to right now. You're gonna listen to it too.
You guys, if you see me, like, just try to, like, bear with me for the allergies right now because it is insane how my allergies spiked today, of
Oh
where I've
no.
just been sneezing nonstop. Like, those, like, clips that you see on YouTube of cats, like, sneezing nonstop? Literally me all day.
Oh
So,
man.
yeah. Yeah, it's so funny because, like, I went to splash water on my eyes before, just, like, a brief interlude, funny story for you. And like, how the water was in my eyes and everything, I tried to find something to wipe it. I walked into a wall, like,
Oh no.
just classy, classic. Oh my god. But so, okay, when I voted for Hades 2, like I part of me wishes that I had played Silk Song when it had come up to when the Game Awards was, but I didn't play Hollow Knight yet. And by the
Okay.
time the Game Awards was, I'd finished Hollow Knight. And let me tell
Okay.
you, it's a hot take, but best Metroidvania I've ever played.
Oh
And
wow, that
probably
is a hot take.
ever. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, yes, I love Castlevania. I absolutely love Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolia, but Hollow Knight, there's just something so incredibly special about it. The OST, the way that it's designed, the way that you have like the concept and philosophy behind the soul, it is so good. And I cannot wait to dive into Silk Song.
Nice.
So yeah, it's one of those interesting things of where like I this actually goes into the next topic I want to talk about where journalism.
Yeah.
So we've seen different shifts in how articles are done over the years, and I want to know how you think gaming journalism is going to evolve in the year of 2026 because we see so many reviews and the embargoes being stacked on top of one another of where there's such a quick turnaround time. When do you think the breaking point is going to be for journalists whenever we all say we're okay, we cannot put out a decent review if companies are asking us for as quick of a turnaround time?
Problem is you have so many people that want to get into games journalism, they're willing to just deal with that so they can get their foot in the door. What you just mentioned is not a new problem. That's something that's just been happening ever since I've been in the industry for the last 15 years. So I don't think anything is going to change in that regard. Like companies don't care that their release is like a week before another release and no one's going to have time to write about it or do videos about it. They're not worried about it. So that's not going to change. Like, unfortunately, even though we're out there giving our opinions to people, it doesn't influence what the companies do generally, unless you're like really big. Yeah, so like I don't really have a good answer for that. It's not going to change. Nothing. The only thing I could change is you know, the influence of gaming journalists might continue going down. People just don't care for game journalists anymore, rightly or wrongly. It's really more about YouTubers now. That's what, like general audiences seem to care about. And it's not a new thing. It's been happening ever since like I would say 2017 or so. Like just to put a point of that, when I first started in 2012, right? For the first 5 years, 5, 6 years, whenever I go to an event, I would be asked by the people there, what publication do you write for? Around 2018, I started getting asked a different question. What game do you stream? Yeah, because more and more influencers were getting, coming into these events. And I understand it, right? If you're a game journalist, you're gonna be critical of stuff, right? You're gonna actually analyze things and just give your opinion. If you're an influencer, you might be like, I'm gonna just, you know, I'm gonna play nice. I can keep coming to these events, you know. And then you obviously have, influencers that have been paid off and stuff. They admit it, So if you're a PR company, who would you invite to an event? Some snooty game journalist or an influencer that is going to give you good publicity, you know? Yeah, the influencer, yeah. And unlike what some people say, speaking by YouTubers grifting people, game journalists are not paid off because we would be fired if that was the case, you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the
But
thing
that's
too. If
not but
we're
that's not a
like,
standard that's not a standard that
yeah.
YouTubers are held to, unfortunately.
No, and that's the thing too. Of where like it's grossed me out for so long that I don't even call myself an influencer anymore. I really
Yeah,
don't. I call myself either a content creator or just a souls and souls like creator because
good.
it's just like I don't want to be under the umbrella of the grifters and all that kind of stuff. Like it's embarrassing what they're doing to the platform, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the show. Actually didn't know what was going on. I just saw the clips afterwards. The streamer awards, the type of people that were there are like basically what the stereotypes of streamers. I'm like, this is embarrassing, you
Yeah,
know?
it's insane. I mean like yeah, I don't know the people personally, so I'm not gonna judge them or anything like that. But it's like I think there was only one female who was getting nominated there as well,
Yeah,
which was also another thing. It's just like why don't we have more females nominated? Just
yeah.
curious. But yeah, no, it's really interesting. So wait, that leads me to another question then about journalism. Do you think that, to put it bluntly,
Yeah.
journalism in the games industry is a dying art?
Oh yeah. It's been dying for years.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
as a matter of
which is
fact, you
sad.
already see it. No, I'm just again, you
Yeah.
said be blunt, right? So I'm being blunt.
No,
You're
no, but I
seeing
just think it's sad.
it's very sad. You're seeing
Yeah.
gaming publications closing all the time, people losing their jobs, and they're not finding new ones. And I read this report saying that like the majority of game journalists that leave the industry never come back. They're just gone. So that type of experience is just it's gone. It's like you don't see it anymore. It's again, this is now the age where people don't want to read anymore. They just want to watch videos, and even those videos, like what this video is 5 minutes. That's too long for me. I want to watch a 30-second clip. So it's just like attention spans are just down the drain. So like if you want to be a proper game journalist, like good luck to you. You know, I remember when I first started, people would ask me, how do I get into game journalism? I would tell them the path I took, right? I was like, you know, start a blog, learn how to write, submit some stuff to some an indie like publisher and stuff, you know, and then, you know, who has like contacts in the industry. And then if you keep writing, and then maybe you'll get picked up by a bigger like outlet, right? That's what I used to tell them. You know what I tell them now? Start a Twitch channel and pray to God.
That's hilarious, but it's so true though.
That's it. Yeah.
It's yeah, I mean, that's the thing of where like when I was first applying for freelance at IGN, I was originally applying to be a journalist, to be a writer for freelance. And it didn't matter what it was, reviews, guides. I prefer reviews, but I want to write literally anything. And the thing is like when I got in touch with one of the people there, they were just like, well, we won't have much for you to write, but it's amazing how I get more work as a video editor than I do as a writer.
See? Because there's the big demand for video content now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too of where like, you know, IGN has been the main one to up my game, no pun intended, in video editing, to be something of where it's just like I've been learning new ways to edit, new ways to market my content, all this kind of stuff. And I feel like, you know, there's so many whenever I see now people making fun of like, oh, why don't you just be a guide writer? It's just like I laugh at that because it's like guide writing is such hard work. Like for example, there was one video that I posted for Ghost of Yote, 15 Things You Missed. And that video took me what felt like an eternity. Like there was so many assets, so many different things you have to account for. You have to be able to make sure that you are right or people will get pissed at you. There's so much to account for. And a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people think that guide writing is easy because you're just like copy and pasting what's in the game. You have to go through, you have to play the game. You have to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I remember this happened a few years ago where, you know, me and some of the team members that are like gamers were asked like, hey, could we possibly start doing some like guides for games? And I'm like, you guys don't understand how hard that shit is. Like, that's going to take so much work. I'm like, we're only writing game content on the side of our normal work, right? I'm like, that's a full-time job, bro. You know, it really is.
Yeah, and that's what my job is. Like, I wouldn't, okay, I can't classify it as a job because I'm freelance, but it's what the work that I do
That is a job, though. You're getting paid for it. That's a job.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. I just don't want to, like, miscategorize anything and get my ass sued, so, you know.
No,
but it's one of
you're a
those.
freelancer. That's a job. Let's call, you know what? Call it a gig, which is still a job, but whatever.
A gig. Yeah, it's like what we would do in the music industry and call each thing that
Yeah.
we did a gig. But yeah, but no, I even remember like you know, I was told that you have to go through and you have to be able to do different whatchamacallit, for Death Stranding, finding all the hot tubs, looking at the locations on the map, making sure that everything is accurate. Death Stranding 2 has one of the most complicated map systems I have ever used because trying to
Yeah.
pinpoint the exact region and the exact location, north, south, everything just gets jumbled into a fucking mess. So I was having corrections being sent to me. He's just like, I'm so sorry, this just isn't correct. I'm like, it's okay, I get it. We want this to be perfect. That way people don't get lost.
Yeah, no, it's tough, and I can just imagine it's even worse on the video end.
But one of the last topics I want to get into that just sounds wrong. Sorry.
Yeah,
Let's spice up
I
there
think,
for a
like,
second.
yeah, I was about, well, the thing, yeah, don't worry. The image I had in my mind was not very like sleazy. I was like, is she gonna hit me with a syringe? Like, what's gonna happen here?
A topic, the next one that I want to dive into with
Yes.
you.
There you go.
There we go. Words, they can appear sometimes.
Get that needle out of my face.
Exactly. Yeah, no, this is an Outlast, okay? So I want to know your 2026 predictions. What do you think is going to occur in terms of the gaming sphere and the tech sphere? What are your biggest predictions for 2026?
Boy, again, this is something we talked about on my podcast as well. And I know I've been kind of gloomy on this episode, but I really don't see things getting any better. But I'm gonna try. I'm looking forward to February because two big games are going to be dropping for me. Resident Evil Requiem. I still call it Resident Evil 9, but Requiem is going to be so good. And I've never played this game before, This is also a remake. Dragon Quest VII. I played it at a Square Enix event and I fell in love with it. It was so fun. Like the characters, I was like, oh, these characters look fun. Then I found out they were actually like they created real dolls and scanned them and put them in the game, and it looks so charming. So I'm looking forward to that. And I again, Grand Theft Auto 6. I hope it's good. Please be good. I also hope that the Steam machine is not $1 million because I'm very curious to check it out. Like, if that thing works well enough, because I know, like, in terms of power, it's, according to Digital Foundry, it's between an Xbox Series S and PS5, closer to the PS5. But I'm like, if it's good enough, it could potentially replace my gaming PC, because I don't play a lot of PC games. I mostly play on PlayStation 5. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But like, what do I think is going to happen? Again, when I dive into the realism, I think we're going to see more price hikes, more layoffs, more delays, and probably more buffoonery on YouTube in the gaming space. Unfortunately, yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Well, along the same line of price hikes and layoffs, unfortunate but true. I think we are going to see some unexpected demos being released for the titles that are going to be coming out. I think Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem is going to get a demo probably like a month or so before its release. Because that's what they did for Resident Evil 8, I believe. They put out a demo for the PS5 only, actually, and that
Okay.
was something of where people got really excited for it and they were like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I think it was Resident Evil Maria, if I remember correctly. Let me double check. I don't want to be wrong on this.
Yeah, I'm not
Hold on
sure.
one
I mean,
second.
they probably is the thing. Those demos that you're talking about, I think the reason I never played them is because I had already played them at events. Shout out to I'm not gonna say the name of the PR company, but they're very good at inviting me to these events, so I get to check out these demos and stuff. And those demos usually are made to the public, available to the public after the fact. So yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah, so okay, hold on a second. Oh, Maiden. Okay, yeah. So that was a PS5 exclusive, the demo
Okay.
for the Maiden demo. So I think we're going to
I
see
do
something
remember that.
similar to that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I feel like we're gonna see something similar to the likes of that for consoles, either for strictly PS5 or ones for PC and Xbox. But I think companies are learning their lesson. They're going to do it for all platforms this time,
yeah.
because making one for PS5 only, that was kind of diabolical on their part,
That's
especially
crazy. Yeah.
Capcom. But I feel like they're going to release a demo mid to late January. I feel like we are going to get a demo for the new Gears game that's going to be
Ooh,
coming out.
yes, yeah.
Probably, when is that game set to release? Because I'm thinking
I don't think we got a release date yet for E Day, right?
for E Day, then it's probably going to be the summertime. I'm guessing for
Okay,
release date on the demo.
we'll have to see.
Yeah, so that's I have such a strong feeling about that because I was right in my prediction for like past Game Awards when they were releasing and like announcing the trailers for the new Gears of War, because like every 2 years there's a new Gears of War.
Yeah.
So let's see, my other prediction is going to be, oh lord, for I think firmly, I'm going to be positive with this one,
Yeah.
that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to change the way the gaming industry is for the better
Ooh,
for the foreseeable future for the next 10 to 12 years.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
Because I'm like, I don't like, this is much of a Bonnie and Clyde story and those go over pretty well. So if they go with the same formula that Grand Theft Auto 5 did, but they make the trip characters intriguing enough and they make it that with that mixture of greed, of seediness, of hope, because
Yeah.
these are very hopeful characters at the end of the day. You want to still keep that of balancing of literally hating everyone, doesn't matter who it is. I feel like they're going to do really good with it, and I feel like it could change the gaming industry in a very positive way of where you start to see sales, you start to see things go up again. So I'm going to be positive with that prediction. And my final prediction is that Miyazaki is going to make another Souls-like game, and he's going to announce it the middle of the year.
I hope you're right about that too, because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Night Rain was not it. I did that was not what I wanted. Yeah, because it's not, the sense of exploration is gone because you're being funneled to the middle of the map, Fortnite style. I'm like, I don't like this. Like, don't rush me. These games are meant to be savored like fine wine, you know?
Fair, fair. I mean, the thing is like I'll have to be honest. I'm actually going to be playing it with friends on Monday, so this is my first time properly diving into it. I briefly
Yeah.
went into it, and then I got the DLC that just came out for it because
Okay.
my boy Artorias is in there, and I
Hmm.
can't say no to Artorias. So
Sure
listen,
enough.
me and him are exclusive, all right.
Yeah.
So it's so fun to be able to see like what your thoughts are on what the gaming industry has, and then me just little like Glinda from Wicked being positive over here.
There you go. No, that's good. We need the yin and the yang, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, Tony, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Where can people find you? What are your handles? And all the links to your stuff will be in the description below, by the way.
All right. Again, I want to thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation as much as we enjoyed it. I think they will. One of the things I always get told a lot, like I'll just be out, hanging out with friends and stuff, and some random person that's just near us. This literally happened last week. I was just talking to a friend at a pizzeria. He's like, "Yo, you guys need to do a podcast." So, I think you and I have that same kind of energy as well. But yeah, you can find me. I am still on Twitter. That's my home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going down with the ship. At Romudeth, ROMUDTH. And in my bio, you can find links to all the places you can find me. I am a senior writer for Tom's Guide, so you can check me out there. I'm also, please make sure to subscribe to Tom's Guide on our YouTube channel. We hit 100,000 subscribers this year, and I one of the reasons for that, and I'm gonna just pat myself on the back for this one because of my handheld videos. Every time I upload a handheld video, they blow up. So thank you for everybody who's been enjoying those. We did like a wrap up of all the handhelds that came out this year, which blew up again. Which is it's I'm like I told my video editor, I'm like, yo, this is just easy money when we upload these things, So yeah, check me out, Tom's Guide, both on the website tomsguide.com and on YouTube, and also check me out on the Throwdown Show podcast. We go live every Thursday and Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. The Thursday show is always where we do regular gaming news of the week. Then the Sunday show is the question show. We actually just wrapped up the final normal show of the year, which was like the year-end special, and now we're going to do the final question show of the year, which is it's because we always do gaming questions, but for one time in the year we do AMA. Ask us whatever, and those are always the fun shows because people, they get deep with these questions, like about life and stuff. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. So we're gonna take 2 weeks off, like we always do at the end of the year. Then we're gonna come back strong the first full week of January for another year of Throwdown. But yeah, hopefully, your predictions are true for next year, and gaming will get better because things are just looking very bleak right now. But there's still hope.
There's always hope, and that's my strong stance on it, is that when things look bleak, I feel like there's always that silver lining that's just, it's waiting to crack, it's waiting to ripple at some point. So but yeah, for those of you who don't know me and you guys want to get to know me on other networks and everything like that, hi, my name is Ariel Den, and I am a games journalist. I am a freelance video editor over at IGN. I also do Souls and Soulside content. I do also podcasts here, being silly, going on tangents, talking the shit. I also want to say this is the last podcast of the year before I go on break as well. This is amazing that I've been able to have so many different guests on this year. I was able to do so much with this podcast. This is episode 18 of The Gamer's Respite.
Nice.
And so fortunate to be able to do this. And it's just, I had to actually reband, quick story, because I found out that there's a clothing store that's called The Casual Nerd.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got to be careful with that. I hear. So it's interesting. You even started the numbering, you started the numbering too. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, we did something similar. My podcast, it was always called Throwdown, but when we went over to be independent, because we used to be affiliated with another website, we were up to episode 90. I'm like, let's just start over again,
Yeah, fair. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. And it's just so much fun to be able to do this podcast. This is the second episode we have actually on this podcast. So that's always fun to be able to do that. And also just a quick shout out really, really quickly. My recent purchase, I blame Paris and you and Danny for this purchase.
Oh, look at that.
It is amazing.
That is
Absolutely
a fun,
amazing.
that is a very modified Steam Deck. Look at that. That's fun.
I absolutely love it. I got the skin for it and everything. It's amazing. Whenever I was doing my full guide for Dark Souls 1 Remastered, I was able to play this while I was relaxing in bed, then switch back over and oh, you have your where exactly you left off
The
on
thing of
PC.
beauty.
Like it's so good. This reminds me of when I bought what was it, Diablo 4 on PS5. Then I got another copy on PC because I wanted to see how it ran on PC.
Yeah,
When I saved the content on the PS5, it automatically transferred over that saved content to the PC. This is the way every game should work.
I
If it
agree.
just every game. It's such a luxury, but it's such a convenience too. Like
Yeah, no,
it's
it is. Like I
incredible.
remember, I think it was a couple years ago when I went to go visit my mom, and I was playing some game on PS5. I'm like, I have no way of continuing this game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there was no, like, for example, if I had been playing a PC game, I would just bring a Steam Deck and keep going. But I was like, so that's kind of limiting. So hopefully that rumored PS5 handheld will be a thing one day, so I could just take it on the go and stuff. But yeah, I'm really happy you got that. That thing looks so dope too, the way you put the skin on it and everything.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. This upcoming year is finally the year that I dive into the Switch 2. So
Hey,
I'm
let's
very
go.
excited about that. Hey, mainly it's for the Dusk Bloods. So I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a whore for Miyazaki games. All right, but you
fair
guys.
enough.
If you all like our faces and what we do, please be sure to subscribe, hit that bell down below. May your coffee treat you well and life give you a nat 20. I will see you all in the next one. I will see you all in 2026. Take care, you guys.